on the broader definition. A large format, that is for talking of convention, a large formal meeting or assembly as of members, representatives, or delegates for discussion and action on particular matters of common interest and concern. So that is what convention in a broad way meant. But we have many people having convention, including ourselves. And that is done in a certain context, depending upon our purpose and our mission. So purpose number one. The primary purpose of our conventions is spiritual. Members enjoy free fellowship with the Holy Spirit and among ourselves, and also in fellowship. Fellowship, there are two different words. Fellowship and what? Fellowship. After fellowshipping with the Lord, you must learn to do what? Follow. You must learn to follow Him. So you can't experience Him in fellowship and then go over. He says what? I know my sheep. My sheep know. And they know they follow Him. Now, number two, at our conventions, we run series of seminars as a way of what? Improving our lifestyle. Life transforming teaching sessions are held to re-enrich members' lives, to reflect the character and image of our Lord Jesus Christ. The training sessions also bring members to speed with effective chapter operations for maximum output in their various chapters. So we are trying to define the symptoms of our convention. Number two, we continue what happens in our convention. Insight is also provided into how our vision and goals are being met in other parts of the country. Now we are talking about, we come to the different types of conventions. Members are exposed to a unique opportunity for developing spiritual gifts in service to the Lord. At the gathering of such a grand array of national officers, chapter officers have a unique opportunity for speakers for their various chapter programs. Now, one of the things we also do at the distance. So, let me say that the conventions are typically for members. Most of the activities are essentially for what? Members. For us to relate, for us to fellowship, for us to inspire ourselves, for us to strengthen ourselves. And then there are two types of seminars. Training, we train the officers. Because that is the gathering of a larger number of our members and chapters. So it provides easy means of what? Communication. So what we do basically is to help the chapters to be strengthened, to help members to be inspired so that we can carry on this wonderful work of the Lord. But we are evangelistic in nature and character. So every meeting we try to do what? To use the opportunity as because our main vision is what? Peace. So wherever we have the opportunity, we want to make sure that we lead somebody to Christ. So we say the conversions are for us. But we have created a space, a room, for people who are not the church to be part of it. And that's what we call the evening rallies. The evening rallies. And that becomes even the most important aspect of our conventions. So the rallies, the activities of our conventions are basically for members. But in pursuit of our evangelistic goals, evening rallies are also held for all assembly, for the salvation and deliverance of souls. Number 5, daily-based meeting. It is a special time for members to interact with national or regional leadership in ensuring an up-down and down-up information dissemination to build trust and convenience. Sorry, confidence. That is a mistake. Confidence should be confidence. make sure that what the conventions are held successfully, that everybody is brought on board. So all conventions must be appropriately authorized as follows. If it's national convention, then the national vice president in charge of convention must seek the approval of the national president and his executive committee, that is led. Number two, if it's a regional convention, the national director of the region must seek the approval of the NPP or the national vice president in charge of conventions. Three, request for approval must be appropriately submitted at least 6 months before the proposed convention. Of late, we have relaxed. So some of these things we are not following duly. I believe since we have the opportunity to share, let us, because trust me, as I was preparing for this, there are so many things I myself overlooked. So it gives us all the opportunity to bring ourselves to speed so that we can move on better. Now there's always a preparation. So the first thing that is done is to form a committee, a planning committee, which is called the CPC or the Convention Planning Committee. And that is the main body that is, tasked with the responsibility to plan and execute the convention activities. Now, within the CPC, there is a second committee that is called the Convention Action Committee. So let me say the CPC is the head and the body, and then the CAC is the leg. They do the day-to-day, the actual work is done by them. The planning is the main committee. So we make sure that people of value, people who know what to do best are put together on that committee. The composition of the best committees must be prayerfully selected as follows. Prayerfully. That, thank God, this is what is happening. And fortunately, as we are sharing, we have one of such committees for the national, preparing towards our national convention. And don't forget, every year we have conventions. There are 3 major conventions with the fellowship. The regional one and the national, the alternate. So last year we had a regional convention. Was it last year? Last year we had regional convention. Yeah. So in that order. So this year we are going to have a national convention. So next year it will be regional. So you see how the family bonding rules as individuals we come together as a chapter members. So if you remember, I'm sure some of us will not be in the chapter this long. So you move to the next stage when you have the opportunity to be friends or relatives, what we call family. In fact, we are put together as one. What is the purpose of this? Especially the executive. They must have family meetings. And at that meetings, you learn to share ideas. Every chapter has a unique privilege. Every chapter has a unique problem. But by cross-fertilization of ideas, when you meet as 4 chapters, chapter A might have had an experience, a problem, and they were able to overcome it. Chapter C might be now facing such a problem. So when you meet, you don't have to go and look for consultants, but you have a free word consultancy within the chapter. You are able to work with us. But above all, we want to encourage what? Fellowship. We want to encourage what? Good relationship. Don't forget the 2 main laws that God gave us out of the 10 commandments. Jesus said, look, No commandments I give you. Number one, you must love the Lord your God with all your what? Your heart, your soul, what? Your mind. That means your spirit, soul, and body. Totality. Number two, you must do what? Hello? So the unique thing about full gospel, when we say full gospel, and we talk about, we practice the word in totality. It's not only about miracles and this, but one of the greatest part of this is what we are doing, we are fulfilling what? That second command. Because if we don't love God, we will not be here. So we need to learn to develop good relationship one with another. We must be supportive. If you go to some of the churches, it's heartwarming how people are able to support a brother or sister in problem and how he or she came out of this. So that gives us what? Well, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. So we want to encourage this thing. So you can see that even with the conversion, that at the what? Original level. But before then, we'll get there. Before then, have we jumped that place? Before then, every first Wednesday, you remember? So, and that is every year. We don't wait until the whole year. At any given time, if not weekly, monthly, quarterly, at any given time, there's an opportunity for us to interact. You know, so all that we do at the chapter level, dinner and whatever, the highest form of celebration is what? The convention. And normally it's a 3-day, festival, celebration of our Christ, and to encourage one another. And it's always been very beautiful. It's always been very beautiful. So we are saying that the composition of the CPC, that is the Convention Planning Committee, and that is the new one. And like I said, this year we are doing national convention. So already we have 13 seriously working hard on the ground. I don't know how many, or some of you, I saw some of you were at the convention launch, last month. And it was so beautiful. And that tells you that God is with us. And He has always gone ahead of us. And the Lord belongs to Him. So every battle that we face is what? His battle. So we should not fear when it comes to moving for the things of the Lord. So we are saying that the committees must be formed, and we have the chairman and the vice chairman, and then the CPC members. They are prayerfully and carefully chosen. Now, if you come to national convention, the national vice president shares it with a select member as the vice chairman, who also doubles as the CAC chairman. Now, in practicality, in reality, or in theory, the national convention is chaired by the national president. But normally, this thing is delegated to the vice, a part of the national. But in the past, we were having 3 vice presidents. So one is exclusively for conventions and what? Outreach. And that is the whole duty of that person. But with the new administration, 2 of them have been merged together. So that has widened the scope of responsibility. So God led the national president to create a directorate which was not enforced in the past, especially for conventions. So now we have a directorate or a director in charge of conventions. So if somebody can do it, why not this? So for now, he is handling that chairmanship this thing when it comes to. So that gives some of us the space to concentrate on other things. And like I'm saying, the second this thing is the action, the CAC. So the chairman of the CAC automatically takes what the vice chair of the CPC. Are you getting the picture? We have 2 committees. The main one is the committee also chooses what? Picks people, select people to form the what? CAC, or the Convention Action Committee. And these are people who are energetic, people who have the means to run around. And they do the bulk of the work. The CPC run for them, and they go and work and function. And it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. If you are attending meetings, it's not cheap. And thank God, Tema, you have contributed your due. You have Mr. Benati, who is one of the advisors of the committee. Now we have decided the regions. We are evolving. A lot of things are happening. A lot of changes. We may not see it, but with time, we see that a lot has happened in course of time. So now, all regional directors, whether near or far, they are part of the main CPC. So that when it comes to the national convention, they have a role to play. So if they are not part of it, if they are not part of the planning, it becomes difficult to mobilize their people. So these are the areas that a lot of work needs to be done. And let me say, we have Mr. Amber, to God be the glory. She is now the secretary for the CPC. So that is a big job and a big business. She is always available. But I must also encourage all of us, whatever is happening in the chapter, take interest. Take interest. We are not competition, but let the Lord lead you and guide you. We have the Daniel leadership is the adventure. That is how she got there. So we want to, as much as possible, the youth, we want to what? Involve them in the day-to-day, administration and function of the fellowship. So now the CPC, we are insisting that the youth, number one, a member from the youth, a member from Daniel leadership, the leaders of the fellowship, all the wings, we are bringing them together. So unlike the past, now all the regional directors, they are automatic members of this thing. So that whatever happens, they will carry it to their distance. So a lot of things are happening, and they always want good news to hear. So when it comes to regional convention, the chairman, vice, and other members of the planning committee shall be selected by the regional council. Hello. We are talking about the regional convention. The chairman, we are talking of the chairman of the planning committee. So at all levels, we have what? The same convention planning committee. Whether it's world convention, national convention, regional convention. It's the same pattern. And whatever we do is almost about the same, except the international. The international does the same thing the national does, with just a little variation because of the expanse. So I want to use this to encourage all of us. The conventions are for you. Don't be left behind. Take full part. Greater Accra, we have a problem. Most of the time, the conventions are held here. And we enjoy sitting at home. And it takes only the outsiders, they enjoy it too, because they stop in their hotels, they don't have anywhere to do. So this time I want to encourage all of us to be what? Active participants of our convention. Fortunately, we are not far away from the convention. So we are saying the regional convention, the committee will be selected by the regional council, headed by the national director. Now, what are the responsibilities of the various committees? So, number one, chairman. It's quite extensive, so I will not bore you because the responsibilities are huge. Chairman quickly handles all the preliminary work for the CPC meetings, which he chairs. He may, by way of courtesy, enter the chair to the national president or his vice. Hello. Yeah. So we say it's the national for the national convention, the national president, but there's a lot to be done. And we enjoy what? Mentoring people. For instance, every chapter, our outreach meetings, by rule, is the chapter president who is supposed to be the MC. Imagine if he's there for 5 years, and every month he will be the MC. It will be boring. You see now. But give room for, but that's what the book says. That the president, for good reason, train others so that when you are not there, you can just flow in. In the same way, we have been delegated by the district to be the chairman, but not necessary. Sometimes it's not even necessary. Once in a while you can visit the meeting, but let somebody else do it so that they also experience that district. Now, vice chairman, he must assist the chairman in the discharge of his responsibilities and shall deputize in his absence. He also chairs the CAC. I'm talking of the vice. Yes, I'm saying the CAC, the action committee. Their chairman is an automatic vice chair for the CPC. Are you getting the point? So you have that the main body, the planning body, who has a chairman. This vice, there's a second, committee, the CAC, and they do the footwork. All the responsibility lies on them. So the CPC plans and they execute the programs. So we are saying the chairman for the CAC is automatic what? Vice chairman for the conversion planning people. Are you getting the picture? Yes. So it's a very onerous decision. Number 3, secretary or the secretariat convenes all meetings and communicates the agenda and meanings to members. It's a very poor responsibility, but I cannot bore you. So I just pick the first ones on this thing. Now, programs, invitation, coordination. So as I see this, you can look around. From what I gathered, you want to study this, you want to know, so that if there's a room for you to play a role. So we have a fair list of responsibilities, office, to occupy. So if you are good in secretarial area, you can let us know. There's always be something for you to do. Start it at what? The chapter level. That is what I do. Start it from the chapter level. So you have programs, invitations, coordination. And they draw the program, all the program for the conventions. And it's quite involving. Facilities, accommodation, meals. Facilities, the meeting place. They go around and look for the best and suitable area, a place that is accessible. Full gospel, we have plenty of cash. Our visitors come with cash. So we must get a place where, it's easily accessible, probably in the center of the city or where the distance is. And they must have sufficient parking space so that we don't do this thing. Transport, protocol, hospitality. It's a lot of them, and like transport, protocol, hospitality, that is talking about movement of the people in and out, provision of starting service for best participants, including musicians. Number 8, publicity, audio, visual, music, responsible for the printing of convention materials, brochures, name cards, banners, number, advertisements in the print, and then the electronic media. Commerce is very key. Commerce is a mover of the convention. So that is why we launched the convention the other day with what? For a reason. It is huge. It is a very huge program. Of late, it doesn't come cheap. So let us put ourselves together, especially when it comes to, if you cannot do anything at all, at least your little, see this, your few CDs here and there can make a lot of difference. Those that don't have much. All what we are saying, there are a lot of responsibilities you can easily catch. But if for any reason you cannot fit in any of them, your money can go. Where you cannot go, your money, no matter how small, and God will bless us. Amen. Number 10, outreach, that is NPOs, boys, and the youth. Outreach, like you also know, the NPOs, marketplace, outreaches. It doesn't used to be so, but now we are incorporating it into, from last year, we are incorporating it into what? Our conventions. Not only our conventions, but we do go to Winneba for our entry. Years back, we have decided we always slip into Winneba quietly, and then 2 3 days we sneak back. So the idea was, why do we do that? A place we have been patronizing, let us, the people, know who we are and what we do. So for the past 3 years, our NGM, beginning of the year, we've been saturating the place with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now the ministries, they have their full day, they have their full day. So wherever we have the opportunity to share Christ. So our convention will include what? Outreach, which no used to not to be. So it's not only about the rallies, but every opportunity to showcase our Christ, we will do it. Then question, security. So if you are in the security services, normally these are all committees, subcommittees. All that I've mentioned, it's not one man business. It's a committee, and they are also subcommittees. They are also what? They also have their chairman or chairpersons. So if you are here, you are the medical field, so you have a space there. You have a space there. It's not just for one person. We need more and more of them, especially if it's a national one. And then prayer, everybody can pray. So prayer and money, at least everybody can afford. So there is a place and location each one of us can be. Counseling, which is very key. Counseling. Like we said, the convention is for us, but we have created a space for reaching out to the unsaved, so that at our convention, especially in the evenings, when you are going, make sure you prepare the people you want them to experience Christ in a special way. Maybe you have tried to work, witness to them, you have tried to invite them to the chapter several times. But when there's a huge, a crowd playing program like this, they want to be there. People just want to have a change of this. And by so doing, God willing, he or she may find Christ. And that is beautiful. So all that we have said, the conversion is for us. And as much as possible, we want to encourage all of us to be part of it, play a role, and God will bless you abundantly. Now, we also said that the final report, after we have done the CPC, it's a huge job. And if you see what they go through, we need to appreciate them. We need to honor them. After doing all they do, they still have to meet and give account of their still worship. So there is a report they have to put together, including the funders, everything that from the launch and all that they have done. That is to enable us to work, keep our shortfalls and look at our strengths so that we can improve upon, just as we do chapter evaluation. And the uniqueness to see all these things went through all our programs in character. So they write the this thing. They had 4 weeks to do that at the end of each convention. And the CPC is not a standing this thing, it's an outdoor this thing. I've seen that this thing. Then they are chemists, they are assignment is over. Next time they could be the same people or another group of people. So it's a very interesting thing. If you have not, you are far away from the planning process, you now have the opportunity, and that is for the national. For the region, the report shall be submitted to the national vice, to the national director, will copy to the NDP. Now we have other vital information. this is whatever we do at the chapter level is also carried out. Now, for the speakers, we require that laymen should be given precedence over what the clergy at a ratio of 4:1. That much every chapter is in Moses. So, in other words, when we are picking our speakers, we give preference to the laymen because we are basically laymen fellowship. Guest speakers should be selected in consultation with the National Executive Committee, if it is what? A national convention. Now, honorarium to speakers must be generous, reflecting the image of the fellowship. Account must be taken note of. That is the distance, whoever you invite, the distance traveled. Number of times speaker and musicians ministered, size of event, no discrimination between laymen, members, and ministers. All cost of travel from door to door must be covered. It is not allowed for speakers and musicians to raise offerings most of the time. So when we invite them, we must make that known to them. Some come with their, but even that, it must be under the express permission. So we shouldn't allow them. Most of them come and raise their own funds. We are seeing most of this at our conventions. Be careful, we don't entertain that. So for us to do this thing, we do registration because it costs a lot to put this together, and that a lot of conveniences. So registration, presently the registration is ongoing. I think about 350, is that right? Yes. Within, if you register within the distance. Now, when we come to the age, we have the name tags, fellowship banner, plus backdrop, voice magazines, membership decision and application card, offering baskets, red funds, ratio. At the national level, it is very constant. With the regions, when the regions are doing well, they are handling some of these things more effectively. But we have some other regions who are still lagging behind. But thank God, Tema, you are doing so well. So you must continue to encourage yourself. Evaluating the convention. Reports for small committees, yes, submitted to the convention secretary and put together the final convention report. I've said that earlier. After 4 weeks, we put all together, and if it's a national convention, it is presented to the national president to be reviewed by NEC. And this time around, NEC has been meeting. There's a lot of work going on at all times. So far, this is how our conventions go. And I want to take this opportunity. We are about to enter into another conversation. Don't take yourself. And let me say briefly about the World Convention. So we have three conventions: regional, national, and that is the if the Muslims can do everything, they can say, because it's sacred to them. The Muslims, they don't forbid. They do that for nothing. For no benefit. You know, if they can, they are so committed to going to the world. What about it? We are not asking you to go to help you don't know. You can go at least once in your lifetime. At least once in your lifetime. Experience that one. And you make a difference. I don't know how many of us were in the Ghana. The past, I think Nigeria, the first time. Nigeria, for the first time, came to Nigeria. And I remember that time, I felt in my spirit, Ghana will do the next. That is 20 years, 23 years ago. Yes, and we did have to have that. And it was this at Abuja. It's very wonderful. The wives were mesmerized. You know, the Nigerians, when it comes to worship, like that. So it's a new experience. Please be part of it. God will bless you. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. You are welcome. But let me correct you. People name mine. Can I make a, yeah, okay. It's for all of us. When you're giving your testimony, I've heard that several times, and I always make sure that I correct it. Something told you. And then, yeah, so who got it right? The police. As a Christian, you don't expect anybody. So not something, then you make him non-entity. There is a person. We must recognize this. And he speaks to us. It's beautiful. Thank you, brother. So, yeah. Beautiful. For the early bird. Okay. Mm. There are three stages. The early bird, you are paying what? You are paying 350. Then followed by 450. The more you delay, the higher you pay. Okay? So eventually, those Ghanaians who are good at that, last minute. The last minute, is it 500 or 550? 550. So you lose, you have to pay additional 200. I wouldn't call it a punishment, but it's a good incentive for doing it. So it's rather incentive for you to pay early. And also, we start from zero ground. When we plan, we don't have the money. So the early birds help us. Because from day one, we start to secure, like the launch, we don't have the money. But by faith, we want to. You know, it takes money to make money. That is it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Let me at this moment take time to comment one person. I did see her earlier. I mentioned you have three of your members in the this uh, the penalty between advanced Mr. Piano as the national director. I told you all the regional directors, the automatic members of the system. Then we have uh, um, when I mentioned Leonard, who I already mentioned. So let me appreciate you for this from nowhere. She's doing fantastic job. For the first time, the minutes, by the time they finish the next day, the minutes are done. Because it all comes to me. And I'm proud of it. I'm making them proud of Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, oh. Sorry.